Hi, happy Trans Rights Readathon. If you don't know what the Trans Rights Readathon is, it's a readathon that takes place every year. It's for a week leading up to the Trans Day of Visibility. This is technically my first year participating. I definitely, like last year, I read a book for it, but it was just kind of like happenstance. I was just already reading that book throughout the week where it happened to land, so it doesn't technically count, but this is the first year where I'm like intentionally reading for it. I don't have like a fully set list of what I'm gonna be reading this week. I basically took all of the prompts that are available on the bingo card and picked a book for I think almost all of them. There's a few that I couldn't find one for, and then I'm just gonna pick from that list throughout the week. So the readathon started yesterday. It's Saturday currently. I just forgot to film an intro yesterday, so I'm doing it today. But I have actually already started a book and finished a book. Yesterday I read River of Teeth by Sarah Gailey. It's a like alternate history, like cowboy outlaw kind of thing, except instead of riding horses, they ride hippos. And it was so much fun. It was such a weird little novella. There's like a heist involved and revenge and all these cool things. It's incredibly queer. It was so much fun. I loved it. I give it 4 stars. I'm a huge fan of Sarah Gailey. And then the other one that I've already started is The Witch King by H.E. Edgmon. I'm currently on page 77. This one is a fae witch romance. Our main character here, he's a trans witch who ran away a couple years ago because he's like a fated mate with the fairy prince, and he does not want to be, so he ran away. And the book starts when the fairy prince like finds him and like drags him back to the fairy world to get married, so that way he can take the throne before his like not so nice cousin takes the throne from him. Loving this one so far. It's hilarious. But then my other hopefuls for right now, I really want to get to Saint Sorrow Sinner by Freydis Moon. It's the 3rd book in the Gideon Testaments, I think it's called. Hopefully I'll get to A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. And then my copy of Otherworldly came in super early, so like I want to read it right away. So I might get to this one if I can. And then, yeah, I'll be like picking up some random audiobooks throughout the week and just trying to like get in as much reading as I can. But yeah, right now I can't go too much into detail about things because I do actually have to run. I have a train to catch. I'm going to Toronto for the night. I have, first of all, I'm going to my friend from university. She's a filmmaker and she's premiering a short film that she was part of today. So I'm going to the film premiere for that. And then afterwards, I'm going to a rave. It's a neon electric garden party. So everyone's going to be dressed up like fairies and flowers everywhere and glow-in-the-dark neon. It's going to be so much fun. And I'm staying the night in a hostel and coming back tomorrow. I'm so excited for my outfit. I have this like neon bodysuit and like pink fishnets and a whole bunch of fun stuff. So I can't wait to wear it and dance all night and have a really good time. And I'll definitely put in some b-roll of all that going on this weekend. So yeah, I will catch you guys tomorrow. I'll also have some good time on the train to read, so I'm gonna be bringing along The Witch King with me for the train, and maybe I'll have some time in the morning to read if I like wake up in time, but I'm gonna be out partying until like 5 a.m, so probably not, but you never know. Yeah, I gotta run for the train, so I will catch you guys tomorrow with some reading updates. Hello, so it is actually Monday night. I had every intention of doing a little update yesterday, and then I got home from the city and no. I was so tired. I didn't get back to my hostel until about 4 in the morning, and then one of the other people who were staying in the room, she had to get up to go to the airport at like 8 a.m. and I am a super late sleeper and could not get back to sleep after she was like finished getting ready, so I got like a very little sleep, but she was so nice. We actually ended up talking while I was getting ready for the rave, and like it was so funny because she was like this lady, she was like in her 40s, she's a geologist from Peru, and her and I were chatting while I'm like getting dressed for the rave, and I'm like putting on pink fishnets and like hanging flowers off of myself and all this weird shit, and she's just watching me get dressed like, where are you going? It's really funny. But yeah, I like told her about the rave and everything, and she's like, oh my god, like that's so cool, it's amazing that you do that. And like she was all concerned about me like going by myself. She was like, can I like give you my number, that way if something happens you can text me? And I'm like, no, it's okay, like don't worry about it. But anyways, she was super sweet. And the rave was so much fun. The music was amazing all night. There were definitely a lot of people there that like don't normally go to raves, and you can definitely tell. There were a lot of people who were like super on point and like put in so much effort into their outfits, and like there were some incredible like super cool like huge flower headpieces and all this amazing stuff, and then some people just in like floral Hawaiian shirts kind of thing, where it's like you put in some effort but not much. The decorations were awesome, the music was great. The again like the vibe with the people wasn't what it normally is, but otherwise it was still awesome. I danced all night. It was such a good time, very much needed. I haven't gone to a rave since New Year's, so I really needed to just like go and dance and like just have a really fun time. Plus I got to see my friend's short film premiere, which was also excellent. There were 6 films total that showed. They were all like 20 minutes each, and then we like went out for drinks and dinner afterwards and had a great time. We were actually hanging out until like 10 p.m. and then I went back to my hostel and like basically just like got dressed and went. So I was socializing a lot on Saturday and I was definitely very tired. But yeah, and then the way home I just got a quick like Tim Hortons breakfast of champions. And then I had a lot of reading time on the train. I got through, I'm now on of the Witch King. I'm now on page 225, so getting pretty close to the end there. I'm definitely more than halfway now. I love this. This is so much fun. I love the banter. I love like sarcastic, prickly main characters. Like this main character's kind of a dick and I love it. Like he's so funny and like just the gayest human on earth, or witch, whatever. Like so incredibly gay and I love it. I'm so here for it. Him and the Fae Prince are just like, oof, yes, so good. I love it. Some like complicated family relationships in here that I'm really interested in, and just a whole bunch of good stuff that I am absolutely loving with this one. I'm so glad that I finally picked it up. And then other than that, I'm actually almost finished an audiobook. I picked up Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. I actually wasn't planning on reading this one from him. I love Aiden Thomas. I loved Cemetery Boys, and The Sunbury Trials was actually, I think, my #1 book of last year. I love this author, but I really have no interest in Peter Pan, so I wasn't planning on reading this one. But it was available from my library through the audiobook, and I figured for this readathon it would be a good way to try it, so I could give it a shot, and I'm actually quite enjoying it. I'm flying through it. I've just been listening to it while I was like cooking yesterday and cleaning and that kind of thing, and just like walking to and from work today. And yeah, I'm almost done, so I have roughly an hour left in the audiobook, and like it's not my favorite thing ever. It's probably not going to get more than a 3-star, not because it's bad or anything, it's just like I'm just not a huge fan of Peter Pan. Maybe I'll give it a 4-star because like the writing is really good and I do like the characters. Just like the premise isn't my personal favorite. It's about Wendy, who is now, I think she just turned 18, and Peter Pan shows up and he is rapidly aging, and there's also kids missing, so the two of them have to like pair up to figure out what's going on. And yeah, like while it's not my favorite thing in the world, I am actually quite enjoying it. My issue with like YA contemporary fantasy, that like I really don't care about like awkward teenagers and like first crushes and like having fights with their friends. That's why I stopped reading contemporary YA fantasy. It's super rare for me to pick one up, and those parts of it I'm really not enjoying. It's kind of like taking down the enjoyment a lot, but the actual like adventuring part and them getting to know each other and like the mystery of it is actually quite fun. And then other than that, this morning I actually ended up reading a poetry collection called Blood Orange, and it was beautiful. Very good read. I definitely recommend that one. It was super quick as well. I think it was like 70 pages or something, so very fast read. I just read it this morning while I was like slowly waking up. Absolutely stunning poetry. It was truly a beautiful read. I'll definitely read it again. And then yeah, I think that's really it for the reading updates for right now. I'm probably gonna finish Lost in the Neverwoods tonight, and then I'm hoping to finish The Witch King tomorrow, and then I'm not too sure what I'll start after either of those ones, but I will let you know once I know. Happy Tuesday. Ignore the pillow here, I'm just covering the logo on my work uniform. I did not end up finishing Lost in the Neverwoods last night. I honestly ended up doom scrolling through TikTok for like 3 hours, so my bad. But I did finish it this morning. I have a full-time job, but I also do dog walking on the side. And I have like a regular dog that I walk a few times a week, who, by the way, is an absolute sweetheart of a dog. His name is Sky. He's a German Shepherd Husky mix, and he's just like the sweetest little guy ever. I love him so much. But yeah, I take him for a 30-minute walk. So that plus the bus to and from is great audiobook time. So I actually ended up finishing Lost in the Neverwoods on our walk today. And yeah, it was really good. I actually forgot to run it through Compile, but I'm thinking it'll be like maybe a 3.5 or so. It was good. I did like it. I didn't love it though, but again, that's mostly due to just like not being super huge on Peter Pan stuff. I liked the characters. I found the bad guy, like the villain, to be the like caricature, like mustache twirling villain kind of thing. It was kind of cheesy, but it is a kid's fairy tale, so I guess that makes sense. It was just like kind of laughable and like definitely lower the stakes for me. I didn't really like feel invested in all the climax because it was so funny to me. So but yeah, probably a 3.5. And then I've made zero progress on this. I literally, so I went to start reading it earlier and I realized that I had left off on like, I had like half a page left in the chapter and I had stopped reading like mid-sentence. I don't know what happened. So the only progress that I've made there is just finishing that half page to get to the next chapter. But I actually have to head to work right now, so I'm thinking I might bring along Saint Sorrow Sinner with me to read on my break. Maybe, we'll see. Yeah, I have to give my cat Bella, I have to give her medicine and her breakfast because I forgot to do that before I left. Finish my tasty croissant and my coffee, which this is so good. There's I had like a 15-minute wait for my bus transfer on the way home, so I was like, of course I'm going to a coffee shop, and I got an orange white chocolate mocha and a almond croissant with almond paste in it. It's delicious. I'm having half of it here and then I'm saving the other half for work. It's so good. It's from my favorite coffee shop downtown. I don't go there very often because I'm just not downtown super often, but if I have the chance, I'm gonna go. It is way overpriced but delicious, so it's worth it. But yeah, I will let you guys know what I think of The Witch King once I finish it. I'm hoping I'll finish it tonight. That is the goal. And then I'll start something else either tonight or tomorrow morning. Happy Wednesday. I'm still reading The Witch King. I haven't gotten too much farther in. I'm now on page 246, so I think I've read like 20 pages since yesterday. I've had a very busy day, so didn't have much time for reading. So I put Lost in the Neverwoods through Compile, and it did end up being a 3.5 star. And then I picked up Infinity Alchemist, I think, by Kacen Callender. I picked that one up through audiobook just while I was doing my dog walk today, and like I had to go to a doctor's appointment down on the other end of the city. So I had that playing for a bit and I was really not vibing with it, so I ended up DNFing it. It's just like, I don't know what it was. I think it was just like, I think it was the writing, honestly. Like, it wasn't bad writing. It was just very like telly. It just felt very like info dumpy in regards to the magic system, and I really wasn't vibing with it, so not for me. I didn't get too far in. It was like roughly 50 pages-ish. It's hard to tell with the audiobook, but like I think it was around 50 pages or so. But I have since then picked up The Wicked Fate by Gabe called Novoa, and so far I'm loving this one. It's a pirate fantasy, so like of course I'm gonna love it. The main character is trans-masc non-binary and has magic and is like living a life at sea, and there's something to do with the devil, and I'm just like, I'm so here for this so far. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not too far in. I'm only maybe about an hour into the audiobook, so like not super far, but so far very much up my alley. But I think for right now I'm gonna keep going on with The Witch King and try and get to at least page 300 today, maybe finish it if I have the energy to get that far. I might just end up like doom scrolling through TikTok. Maybe I'll watch some Star Trek. Haven't really decided yet, but I'm gonna at least try and get through a few more chapters of that one tonight before I crash, basically. So happy Friday. It's the last day of the Trans Rights Readathon, and also very exciting. Today is 2 weeks since I started tea. So I thought let's talk about some wonderfully trans books while I take my testosterone dose today. Yeah, 2 weeks on tea. I do tea gels, so I take it every single day. My doctor told me to take about half a pack, roughly. It's not gonna be perfect, but it is close enough, so yeah. So right now I am roughly halfway through The Wicked Bargain, which I realized I was calling it The Wicked Fate before, I think it is. But no, it is in fact called The Wicked Bargain. Wow, that went all over my arm. The Wicked Bargain by Gabe Novoa, and I am loving it. It's so freaking good. God, this is hard to rub in. Oh my god, it's like literally everywhere. Whatever, you can rub it in here. It's fine. I'm just covered in tea right now. But yes, I'm roughly halfway through The Wicked Bargain, and it is so good. It's adorable. I love the characters. The setting is super fun, and we're getting to know more about the magic system and like how everything works. Plot is just starting to kick in, and I'm having a great time with it so far. I really have no idea where it's gonna go, but I can't wait to find out. The one character, Bass, who I think might end up being the love interest. At first he was kind of annoying, but he's kind of growing on me, which I think was the point, because the main character was also very annoyed by him at first and is like slowly growing to love him. Yeah? Bella wants to say hi, apparently. Hi, Bella. You can't touch my arms. I'm covered in cooties right now. Yeah, with my tea gel, I have to be careful for the first for like half an hour after I take it. Like I can't like touch stuff, so my arms are covered in cooties right now. I can use my hands to like pet her, but I can't hold her right now. What was I saying? Right, yeah. So the main character was also like kind of annoyed by him at like for the first little while, and has slowly been growing on them. He's just like kind of annoying, but in like a fun way. So we'll see what happens there. But there's also a like demon character that I'm like, if you're the love interest, I wouldn't be mad about it. But we'll see what happens there. I'm loving that one today. I have about three-ish hours left in the audiobook. That's at double speed. And then I've also started last night Saint Sorrow's Sinner by Freydis Moon. I'm currently on page 40. Loving this one. It's also like just getting started. They just got to her house and I'm like already obsessed with her. She is super cool. I love this cast of characters. They all kind of like hate each other, but in a fun way. It's so creepy. Main character, she's possessed by some angelic thing. I'm not really sure, but it's like taking over her mind and her body, and it's like tearing her apart from the inside, and it is like disgusting. There's some really cool imagery in here that is like just so freaking gross. I normally can't stand body horror. It's generally a huge limit for me. Like I can't do it. But in these ones, it's bordering on not being okay for me, but it's fine. I don't think I'd be able to do the audiobook for these ones. Just like reading it and hearing it are very different things. Reading it, I can kind of skim over like the really gross parts, whereas hearing it, I obviously can't really do that. So yeah, physically reading is definitely the way to go for these ones for me personally. Loving this one. I love Freydis Moon. I've read almost their entire backlist so far. I think I just have, what's it called? With a Vengeance left. And I have started Exodus something a couple times, but I keep falling asleep when I'm reading it. So I need to like actually like read it during the day and not when I'm trying to go to bed. I'm hoping to finish at least this one, preferably both books by the end of the day. And then after that, I'm not really sure what I'm reading. I still have a whole bunch of books that were on my like maybe list for the Trans readathon that I like really want to get to, so I might just keep reading them. I will never get sick of trans books. It makes me so happy to see like how many there are now. I just think about being a kid and like and how few queer books in general there were, like especially trans books, but like queer books in general just were not a thing until I was in my late teens, early 20s, and even then it was still pretty rare to find. And now the fact that I have a whole list of like 20 plus books, and that's not even all of them, like those are just ones that fit these specific prompts that I can pick from, and they're all books by trans authors, mostly featuring trans characters. Like that makes me so happy to see, and that's not even scratching the surface of the books that are on my TBR that would fit into those categories as well. It's just so delightful that we've progressed so much. We obviously have a long way to go still, but even just seeing that there are books out there now, just it's so wonderful. I love it. And I've gotten so many recommendations and like books added to my TBR just from this week, and like everyone posting their TBRs for the readathon and everything. It's been so much fun. Just like my entire For You page on TikTok has been full of trans books. So this has been a fantastic week. And yeah, just especially wonderful because again, like I'm 2 weeks on T now, so I'm like I have all of the gender euphoria feelings, and like things are starting to change, and like I'm feeling my emotions change, and like my body is starting to get kind of weird, and like it's been so strange. No one ever talks about the first couple of weeks of being on T. Like you hear lots about the first like 3 months, and like 3 to 6 months is what you hear a lot about, like when your voice starts to change and like things start happening, but no one really talks about the first couple of weeks and how weird and wonderful it is. And I'm just kind of experiencing that. I've been talking to all of my trans friends about it and just like having so much fun with it. It's been like such a wonderful experience so far that I'm just like, ugh, I'm so happy. And then being able to spend this week reading like nothing but trans books has been fantastic as well. Anyways, I am going to actually, I think I'm going to do some baking maybe. I have some blackberries that are going bad, so I think I want to make some blackberry scones with them, which will be some great audiobook listening time. And then I want to read some more of Saint Sorrow's Sinner later on. My lovely Bella down here just really wants some cuddles today, so I'm thinking once my like tea is properly soaked in, I'm just gonna cuddle up with her for the rest of the day and read. Maybe I'll watch a movie. Oh, I watched Blade last night for the first time. It was so good. Super cheesy 90s action movie with vampires, and like Blade as a character is completely ridiculous but also such a badass, and I genuinely really enjoyed it. Like I laughed out loud for a lot of that movie. The action scenes were hilarious, but it also had interesting characters and like an actually good plot as well. It was so up my alley, so maybe I'll watch the second Blade movie sometime today or tomorrow. Not too sure what the plan is, but I will figure that out and bring you along with me. And that is the end of the Trans Rights Readathon. I'm actually filming this late. It's currently Wednesday. I just procrastinated, so here we are. But the readathon did actually get extended. They ended it on Sunday instead of Friday because Mercury Stardust and Jory Alluring Skull, they were doing a TikTok fundraiser to raise $4 million for trans healthcare, which they actually have not completed their goal yet because they kept getting banned from TikTok and all platforms literally all weekend. So they're actually still fundraising. They're going to keep going until they have all $4 million. So if you want to donate, I'm going to leave their stuff linked down below for you guys if you want to check them out. But yeah, so because of that, the readathon did get extended. So I did end up reading a bit more over the weekend. And I did realize actually, I never ended up updating you on finishing The Witch King. I did finish this last week, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. Whenever I updated last was like the night that I finished it. I loved this. I gave it 4 stars. It was so much fun. Like I just, oh, it was so good. I can't wait to read the sequel. I'm gonna buy it soon and try and get to it pretty shortly. I love fairy stories normally, and this one was especially good. It was messy and dramatic, and there was so much like dysfunctional family drama happening, but like they still love each other so much. I loved the like ride or die family elements to it. It was so nice to read. The romance was fantastic. I loved everything that this did. I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 because I did find the climax to be like pretty predictable, and there were definitely some things that were pretty convenient. Especially the whole big reveal really didn't hit for me. It was kind of laughable and like very dramatic. Similar thing with Lost in the Neverwoods, where the main villain was like very like mustache twirling caricature of a villain where it was just kind of funny. Kind of a similar vibe in here. But other than that, I really enjoyed this one. Maybe my favorite book of the readathon. Maybe tied for with Saint Sorrow Sinner. These two were tied, I think. But which actually leads me to this one. Also finished this one. Loved it. This was so good. I gave it 4.5 stars. So yeah, I guess this one, like in terms of rating, would be my favorite for sure. This was so good. It was creepy as all hell. I loved the characters. It was also super messy and found family. Can you tell that I love like dysfunctional found families? Like I love that trope. It's so good. It was just phenomenal. Like I loved how it was written. It was like genuinely creepy. That's why I love these books so much. It's like they're super short books, but they do manage to actually get in that creep factor that like even full-length horror novels, I have a hard time getting actually creeped out by them sometimes. But Freydis Moon does a really good job with that. I think this one was probably my favorite book in the series as well. There was so much good stuff happening in here. I really enjoyed it. I did dock it 1/2 star because there is one thing that really bothered me for it. So in the first 2 books, there is romance in them, but like romance isn't the main point of the books, but it's still like, because the books are so short, the romance does take up quite a bit of space in them. And in both of the other books, there was some pretty explicit, well-written, smutty scenes in them. But like, again, that's not the point of the books, but like they were in there and they were beautifully written. They were like really emotional and like just like phenomenally written. They were so good. And then in this one, we have a main character who's autistic and the love interest is a trans woman. And historically, both of those groups of people don't really get perceived in a sexual way very often. It's so rare to have autistic characters in books or movies or any kind of media be portrayed as sexual people. And then trans women are often fetishized and just like not seen in a very positive light when it comes to sex. And it just kind of bothered me that in this book, there was a sex scene in there, but it was fade to black. Whereas the other 2 books were definitely not fade to black. Like clearly this author is comfortable writing explicit scenes. So why in the first 2 books did they not fade to black, but in this one they did? When both of your characters come from communities that are often not portrayed in a positive sexual way. You know, like I would have loved to have seen like this beautifully written explicit scene between 2 characters like this. That would have been amazing. And again, like it was there, it was just fade to black, and I'm like, and that just kind of bothered me. That's a pretty minor thing. Like I'm not reading these books for the smut, obviously, but just in terms of like representation and like seeing that on page would have been really nice. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that kind of couple or that kind of dynamic on page or in really any kind of media. So that would have been really nice to have, but you know, it's a small thing, I guess. So like that's why I only docked by 1/2 star. I still loved this book. It was so good. Again, like the character work in here was just everything that I wanted it to be. I really love messy characters. Like I just think they're so much more interesting and dynamic than like goody two shoes kind of characters. Like everybody in this book, they have all seen some shit. They've been through some shit, and seeing how that's affected how they react to things and how they learn to trust people was just so interesting, especially because like with found family books, the payoff of like when they finally come to trust each other, when you know what they've been through as people individually in their past, it's just so much more rewarding than when it's just easy, you know. But anyways, that is my thoughts on this one. 4.5 stars. I loved this. I'm definitely going to be like rereading this entire series for years to come. They're so much fun. I highly recommend these ones. And then the last book that I read for this readathon was A Taste of Marrow by Sarah Gailey. It's the 2nd book in the River of Teeth like cowboy western with hippos series, which is also a duology. So go me for starting and finishing a series in the span of a week. So love that. This book picks up where we left off from the first book. So I can't say too much about it in terms of the plot, but I did really enjoy it. I also gave it 4 stars. This one got me more emotional than the first book did, so I think I liked it just a little bit better. The characters were more developed. Again, we had that found family element to it that I love. There was some messiness, not like too messy, but they were like a little bit messy in this one, so that was nice. But these books are really just all about the vibes. Hippo riding cowboys, how freaking cool is that? I loved it. So yeah, not too much to say about that one, but it got me to 7 books for the readathon. I read 7 books in a week. That's nuts for me. Like, granted, most of them were pretty short, but like still. I actually think that I forgot to mention on the intro for this vlog, it's fully optional, but it's encouraged that you like donate to some kind of like trans rights organization throughout the readathon. So my plan was to donate $5 for every book that I read to the TikTok-a-thon that Mercury Stardust and Jory are doing. So I did that. I donated $35 over the weekend. Not much in the grand scheme of 4 million, but every little bit counts. But yeah, so that concludes the Trans Rights Readathon for this year. I'm so happy that I was able to participate. I read some amazing books this week. I had such a good time with it. And again, like my For You page and my like all my algorithms on all the social media apps has just been flooded with trans books, and I love that. I've added so many books to my TBR this week, but yeah, so thanks for watching. I always forget how awkward it is to like do an outro for a vlog video or like really any video. I haven't done YouTube in over a year, so this is weird for me. I forget how to do this. So I'm just gonna end it. Okay, bye.